in reverse. Everybody didn't come from Africa.
Go ahead.
Right? People came from America and populated the world. They told us everything in reverse. So when they show you all them Africas, all them arrows and the out of Africa theory, you got to remember it's a theory. But when you trace back the the chemistry of the biology of the human body, the carbon that makes the human body is corn. And it's an undisputed fact that the corn is originated from over here. Right? So if everybody is made out of corn, we had to make the corn to make the rest of them people.
Mm-hmm.
Roll the corn. We know the truth now.
Now,
So
what
now,
do you... Okay, you finished? I ain't
yeah, go ahead. Go with the question.
All right, so some people are saying that the Twa man is one. I think the Twa and the Mississippians really are the same people. The Twa and the Mayans, all them are the Twa.
Well, you got to look at it like a tree.
Yeah.
The San and the Twa are the oldest tribes on the motherland continent.
Mm-hmm.
They're also the oldest ones that was the Asians, because when the daughters of the earth originally migrated around the earth, because it was all women at one point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They was all under 5 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
When the men came, those men that came was over 7 foot tall.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It was only a handful of original males through parthogenic production of the female that's earthborn with a soul that originate from the spirits of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm firstborn of the earthborn parthogenic son of the great mother.
Mm-hmm.
Adopted by Enki as Loki in the story of the Ice Princess and being adopted by I think it was Odin.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, he was adopted and became the brother to Thor. Thor is Enlil,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And they gave Enlil the jurisdictional authority by Anunnaki birthright, but that shit don't apply to us.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They trying to make what apply to them on Nibiru, what apply to them in Sirius, apply to us on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, I'm the crown prince. I'm the one come to set the record straight. I'm the one to tell you that it ain't nobody out there did what Malachi did. Ain't nobody out there did what Elijah did. Ain't nobody out there did what Garvey did. That three alone, that could be a holy trinity for our new reality. You want to really get into it. Because the rest of these Negroes is working for the enemy. And the only reason you know they wasn't is because the enemy was infiltrating them. Mm-hmm. The enemy not gonna never infiltrate somebody because they don't have to, that work for them. Right? They infiltrated them. They got the records to prove it. I'm not making it up. They said it. I didn't say it. Mm-hmm. They the one kept the records of infiltrating the Moorish Science Temple. The government, the United States corporate government kept the records. It's called FBI files.
They think like call to the ceiling too.
Yeah, they kept the files, the actual written papers from the era that was contemporary with the time that these men walked. Mm-hmm. We just so intelligent that we some goddamn fools. We educated fools. They educated us, but we still remained fools because their education was never to raise our consciousness. It was only to guide our footsteps with these blinders on called misinformation. Mm-hmm. They told us they was going to give us the misinformation and they gave it to us. They told us they was going to give us false narratives about our history and they gave it to us. And now you got us, the people that they said they was going to do that to, fighting to hold on to the narrative that Master gave them. But they don't think that's what they fighting for. Mm-hmm. Right? They think because Master told you that if you want your free, you got to fight how I tell you to. Mm-hmm. How the hell am I get free following your instructions? You the one holding me bondage. Won't you just let me go? Mm-hmm. Right? But no, a lot of these in the way Negroes. It's just that, in the way. Your preachers, your imams, all these Negroes following the Bible, telling you a Hebrew. Wasn't no Hebrews over here before 1492. Even if we spoke Paleo-Hebrew language, we wasn't calling ourselves no 12 tribes of Israel. We wasn't calling ourselves the chosen ones of Yahweh. Yahweh didn't choose me. He can't be the God of earth, and his people don't have a natural, organic homeland. Why he got to kill everybody else to give you a homeland? Why he got to go ethnic cleanse? So if you following a God that believes in ethnic cleansing in order to give you a place to be, that means you're an interloper. You're a usurper. You're an underminer. You're an infiltrator. You're a parasite. You here in order to get what your fake God told you he was gonna give you if you help him overthrow the real God. He can't overthrow. You can't be God. Big Mama know everything you gonna do before you do it. She just let you do it to say I told you you wasn't gonna be able to take this from this one.
That's right. I
already told you, but you could try. I mean, if everybody can get an opportunity to try for a shot at the title, you in the wrong weight class. Them Dr. Umar, unapologetically African. What's my man with the foundational Black American, the ex-pimp? Tariq Nasheed. They don't know what they talking about. But they believe in their heart. They telling you the God-given truth. God is no respecter of persons. If God choose somebody to be better than somebody, that means he didn't create everybody. Because if we all his children, he love us all the same but different.
You're slapping them around too much.
Yeah, you're not finna say I'm gonna exalt this son and I'm gonna hold this one back. You're not gonna do that. You're gonna turn them all loose and say, do it at your own merit. What can you do with the skill sets you have to develop into the qualified person to take this spot? All y'all my sons, so let's have at it. Let's see which one of y'all can outshine the rest of them. Who gonna win the race? My mama told me a long time ago, the race don't always go to the swift. Most of the time it goes to the slow and steady.
Right.
That's why the tortoise beat the hare, because the hare can't run straight. This is what they don't understand. The hare's running in circles. But the tortoise is just moseying along in a straight path. And then the hare gets tired from running in circles, so he got to take a nap. And the turtle was just moseying on the straight path. Mm-hmm. He ain't no hurry. He gonna get there. He see the finish line from where he at. Right? So what we looking at is a lot of people that believe that they know the truth. But that belief don't make you right. You can believe something all you want and be 100% wrong. But you believe it. But you don't know you're wrong because you believe it. I don't believe nothing. I need to go see it. Show me. Right? So if they can't show me, they can just, I hear what you're saying over there, but since you can't show me, I'm gonna listen to what you're saying, but I'm gonna mosey on along and win this race.
Hey, that brings me to my next question, brother, because I got people coming on. They get mad about me saying that Christopher Columbus wasn't the first to sail to America, that it was Africans that sailed over here to America. They might want to call Africa then when they was coming, but like the people from that land was sailing over here before Columbus.
Well, yeah, you got to remember they had three major empires before Europe got off the ground real good.
Go ahead.
They had the Songhai Empire, the Mali Empire, and the Ghanaian Empire. Mm-hmm. Those three cover about 60% of sub-Saharan Africa. but they never stopped the people in the bush from living how they wanted to live because they were civilized in the city. That's the difference. The ones over here, they want to stop the people from living and minding their business in the bush and force them to live in the city. Everybody ain't supposed to live in the city, just like everybody ain't supposed to live in the country. Some people ain't wired that way.
Right.
But if they get us out of the country, then they can say, look, they abandoned their land. We ain't abandoned ship. We was on the land. How can we abandon ship when we on the land?
Right.
You mean I jumped off my horse, my camel, my mule, but I can't abandon ship. I'm on dry land.
They say but they couldn't dispute the fact that this, could you go in on this? How is it watermelon? They say watermelon originated in Africa, but it's watermelon over here thousands of years before Columbus. How is it corn on both sides? How's all these different things that's origin from different places on both sides prior to Columbus?
Yeah, we talked about that. Remember, the Afar tribe. Look them up.
Yeah.
Right. The Afar tribe is the cousins to the old Mississippians.
Go ahead.
Right.
I see that.
Now, they went over to settle in the what we call the motherland. But it's really, if it's the motherland in America, the womb.
Go ahead.
Right.
Yeah.
So when they say Africa, it's a play on telling you about the Afar Inca. Remember we talked about that? The Afar Inca? And they say America is a more Inca. But they try to give us these new words and change and alter perception. See, what they doing is hijacking your genetic memory. We don't remember being Americans, but we remember being a more Inca. But if it sounds close enough, we'll go along to get along because it sounds like it's right without no investigation put into it. The Afar Inca, Africa is actually Ifraq, which is an Arabic word meaning divided.
That's right.
It wasn't divided until the Berlin Conference when they divided it up.
That's right.
Right. So now we got the Scramble for Africa. Right. That's a book, A Scramble for Africa, about the fallout after the Berlin Conference, which took place in Germany, mind you, not in Africa. And then you have the new people that's calling it Al-Qaeda. That's Swahili. That's not even an original language. Swahili is a multi-ethnic derivative used in order to trade in human cargo.
Yeah, it's like a combination of different languages.
In other words, it's a hodgepodge of languages patched together to make one coherent slave trade language.
Yeah, they can talk to different.
That's the history of Swahili. It's not Al-Qaeda. There's no ancient map with Al-Qaeda on it nowhere. You find the old maps with Sudan written across it or Ethiopia, but you don't find now they can't find you one in English, Arabic, or otherwise where it's referring to the continent of Africa as Al-Qaeda. It don't exist.
Yeah, but it's the thing too. The word Sudan means black, right? It means black. So if you say the land of the black, it's the same thing as saying Sudan. Really, technically, if you want to get to linguistics.
Well, yeah, and it's really referring to, because you got to remember, the Nile run through Sudan.
Yeah.
Right, through Egypt into the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
Now, what most people don't know is the Mediterranean is a crater from a Vermonters War. And the Sahara Desert used to have a massive freshwater lake there.
Yeah.
Right. It was at the time it was the biggest lake on the planet because it took up like 2/3 of the Sahara Desert.
That's right.
And around that lake, it was all kinds of foliage and tropical forests. Well, two things happened. The war came, the Vermonters War came. They blew the hole that they say it's a crater.
Yeah.
But it ain't a crater. It's a bomb blast spot from what they call Elijah Muhammad call him he got a name. They call him bunker busters today.
Yeah.
right? But Elijah Muhammad described it. He described it. He said the bomb that's going to come off the baby plane is going to burrow underground a mile.
Yeah.
And then it's going to explode. And the blast of the size of the crater that is going to leave depend on the amount of explosive in the blast.
That's right.
Right? So it created that big crater. The Mediterranean didn't used to be as big as it is now. But when they blew the crater, a little saltwater sea like the Caspian Sea is about the size it used to be. But when they blew the crater, it blew up all that. They got whole cities under the Mediterranean right now. But they be ignoring it like it don't exist, because if we start asking questions, well, how did all these cities get underwater?
That's right.
It used to be dry land. Right? And now they all under the Mediterranean Sea because the Nile have to drain into the Mediterranean to fill in the crater, to separate the people from Europe from the people from what we call Africa, Middle East today. It was a war zone. Just like most of the desert is fallout from ancient nuclear blasts, from we had Anunnaki wars, pyramid wars, Vamanus wars. There ain't none of this new. We just repeating the same dumb stuff all over and over, like we didn't learn the last time we went through it.
Right.
Cycles within cycles. But only way you're going to break a cycle is recognize it, expose it, and that flips you out of the loop. And that's how you keep your path straight. Sirata Mustaqim.
Yeah, that's straight and narrow. Hey, Raw, I got another question for you, because we're talking about the melting pot here, and it really was a Q&A, but the melting pot was a good point, because I heard you talk about the redheads, different tribes that came over, the Huns were brought over, different people were brought over, and some of these people mixed in with us. So some of us got different features. Some of us might have a Hun somewhere, or Irish somewhere. So could you go in on why they call the Turtle Island the melting pot? Go ahead. Okay,
so on the rule of the law of the land say everybody under your own vine and fig tree. No, but you all even got it written that you're supposed to worship under your own vine and fig tree. That means we welcome any culture over here. Excuse me. Let me get a drink.
Hey, y'all, hit that like, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, man. We're about to go in. We're about to crack heads at Twist Couch. We got Chief Pontiac in the building, y'all. Free Malachi York. We're waiting on Larry Hoover to get out right now, y'all. Hey, peace. Go ahead, Rod.
So the great melting pot concept comes from when you get this many groups of people, it's going to always be people that leave the group. Those people is going to form a whole new culture. And when all of the tribes or people that's worshiping under their own vine and fig tree then seeded what's called the main portion of the society. This is the veins between each one of the organs. The organs being the villages. Right? So the people that leave and become part of what's called the overculture becomes the impurities that rise to the top in smelting metal. The concept melting pot comes from smelting metal. Now, once these people come together, they're going to mix ideas, concepts, they're going to mix musical styles, they're going to mix dance moves. Everything that what you call culture is going to be mixed, and it's going to be what's commonly called today pop culture. Right? But even though it's pop culture, under that, you still have them brothers in California, Crips, Bloods, Vatos, Lokes. They still are there in their own set. but they still feeding the larger society with defectors. Right? So this is the pressure. The pressure was put on everybody by the government, using unnecessary force to force you to do something that was necessary. This is how they gave Paleface what we call fornication rights under the order of the king to become a MF. Right? Because they gave them free run. Remember, what is the spoils of war in the 1500s, in the 1400s? It's the women.
That's right.
It's the wealth. And it's the children. Right? Why do you think they call a woman's behind posterior a booty?
Right.
Booty is a spoil of war.
Right.
Right? If you get conquered in war, that's how they unleash their rapers on you. Because you don't want to comply with the ones who think they win in the war. They allow or they activate rape culture. And now they can use the rape culture to villainize the innocent and glorify the wicked, using the same culture, rape culture. Right? It's the government doing it. The government is pushing the agenda using propaganda means by exploiting the gossip channel and clogging it up with a bunch of don't tell this person because this person is a good person. And you don't want the good person to get tripped up for doing something to the bad person. And then they're going to send the police in. You got the good person, the bad person, and then the police. Where they come from? You got to think your way out of the trap. You can't just walk out the trap because it's not going to be that easy.
Right.
Right? You have to pinky in the brain it. What we going to do today, Pink? Take over the world. Take over the world. Right? How you going to take over the world when you can't even take over your own house? Let that sink in. You want to take over the world, but you don't even want to you can't even take over your own house.
Right.
You can't conquer your own home that you live in and sleep in. Right? So this is where the problem come in, because the average person don't want to conquer the world. And they still don't want to conquer their own life. Conquer your own life. Don't worry about the world to take care of itself if everybody conquer their own life. But you've been taught to disregard the ambitions to be your highest, most authentic self in order to go along and get along with the colonizer. But you swear that you a civil rights activist and you going against him, but you're doing everything he told you to do to fight him. Right. You're not coming up with your own strategies. You using, he said, okay, this is the rules. If you fight me, you have to fight me like this. Yeah. That's retarded. As soon as your colonizer, your oppressor, tell you that it's okay for you to fight back as long as you fight me this way, he won. Because as long as you fighting the way he told you to fight, you're not gonna win the war. Guaranteed. I don't care who you think you is, how big and how bad. If your enemy tell you how to fight him, he's never going to tell you a coherent, functional strategy for you to ever come out on top. He will always give you the strategy that's going to keep you under his jurisdictional authority. And if you don't change your strategy, you just going to fall for it. You going to go along to get along. A lot of people don't think they go along to get along. They think they radicals and rebels, but they some tap dancing, bootlicking, brown nosing, go along to get along. That's their game. That's their clique. They are members and don't even know it. Go along to get along, gang.
Now, Raw, we got a lot of Caucasian. Well, it's a lot of them. They think they're Caucasian. They're really not, because you got to have one. But we got a lot of fans that's on here, and they, everybody's still dealing with the white and the black thing.
I don't deal with it because that's the most retarded thing to me.
They white, and people, it's people that think they really white people, right? Or they really black people, and that's so. Could you go in on how they the ethnic group thing and how they using that to try to, you know, the white and black thing. Ain't no really no white black people. It's all game. White, it's not even they're not even dealing with skin.
So skin color is an artificial caste system.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they can get you to follow the skin color edict in the pseudosciences that support the fallacy,
mm-hmm.
they got you trapped in a divide and conquer mechanism that's going to always keep them in power.
Mm-hmm.
So if they so-called white folks and they've been here longer than their family can trace back into anything 1800s, they mulattoes, right. Octroons and quadroons. They not none. Remember, they had gave the paleface during the so-called slave years absolute right to rape the women. Right. That was part of the compensation for running the plantation and masquerading as the owner of the plantation.
Right.
Is they had the reign to go out and do whatever they wanted to the women from the field.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's part of war strategy. Okay, now they didn't make all of those quadroons, octroons, mulattoes, Melungians, mestizos, and the list goes on and on, mixes of children that could be passing for paleface, pass for white, right. Imitation of life. And then they turned them all loose and they all moved north. Most of them moved north and married in to what we call the white community. Remember, they was marrying pale faces to escape the oppression of being recognized as being black.
Right.
Which is two legal statuses. They jump in the caste system from the bottom to the top because they got the skin to fit in the top echelon. Most of your Hollywood celebrities is mulattoes. They quadroons, they octroons. Yo, right. John Wayne, yo, Fred Astaire,
Brad Pitt.
All of them. Yep. They all anybody whose family been in America longer than 100 years is they not pure-blooded Caucasian no more, European.
That's a fact, bro. That's a straight up fact.
And that's the whole that go back to the great melting pot philosophy.
Yeah.
The one drop of blood doctrine.
Mm-hmm.
God's crucible. What did you do in the crucible? You smelt.
Mm-hmm.
It's a melting pot.
Mm-hmm.
And only you need time, temperature, and pressure to cause the catalyst of transformation to take place.
That definitely happened in America.
Yeah. Look, when they was doing the final analysis of the effectiveness of obtaining that one drop of blood to give them ascension rights. It's all about ascension.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
It's all about ascension. It ain't about nothing else.
Yeah.
But we want to call it good and evil. Okay, well, whatever it was, it ain't about that. It's about ascension rights and violating the free will universe and making amends for the error of producing a sentient being that was denied the rights of ascension. This is what it's a great debauchery, right? Somebody did something. When you talk debauchery, you talking all kinds of wicked being done at one time. It was done in the laboratory. It tell you in the Anunnaki tablets what they did, and it tell you the remedy. Enki told them the remedy was to give them a drop of Anunnaki blood. The concept remains the same. If you take a sentient being, he don't have ascension rights, but you can take a ascended being from any of the ascended rising families and give them a drop of blood to the ones that need to ascend, and you activate they motherline DNA ascension rights. This is what this is all about.
Hey, what do you say about? I remember Elijah Muhammad talking about the different. He's explained in basic format the different people on the planet, but he explained them in color format. He used to say the red man, the black man, the yellow man, and I think he was the brown man.
Elijah was identifying the different strata of the caste system.
Okay.
Right. He only gave like 5 different colors.
Yeah.
Right. If you go into India and you look at it from a different perspective, it's not based on skin color. They put skin color into the caste system later. That was Enlil doing. Those stringy hair, yellow Hindus, them Enlil children.
Go ahead.
Inky children was displaced by them and put at the very, very bottom. And they call them the untouchables, the Dravidians. They got a couple other names for them too. But they the darkest ones. And some of them still got the same straight hair, but they just so dark, they got purple and blue tint to them.
And they call them thugs, like in Thug Life.
Those are the devotees to Kali Ma.
Yeah, the thugs.
Yeah, those were the ones who held the motherland's most sacred. They believed in maintaining the balance and equilibrium of justice across the land in order to keep mama satisfied. Because if mama's satisfied, she gonna be able to give each child instructions on finding harmony. And when all of the children know how to find their own harmony, the family is in balance. Right? I talked to Mike Penny, Michelle. He called me 2 days ago. Anyway, so when you look at these different classifications, the classifications is tools of division. Right? Who did Malachi say win the race and racism?
Nobody.
Nobody. You know why? It's not a real race. Racism is not a real race. It's a fictitious race.
Go ahead.
It's a sidebar race in order to distract you from the original struggle. Original sin wasn't eating from the tree of knowledge. The original sin was trapping people in a box and calling them your pet and breeding them like animals, like the same way you do the dogs. You ain't supposed to do that to people. Right? But most of us believe Eve ate the apple and gave Adam a bite, and so we all doomed for all eternity for being hungry.
Now, Rod, now let's get into this. The slave narrative. I'm starting to think that they came out with this about around the 1800s, 1865. I think they came out with it right in after the Civil War. So based on your perspective, because they couldn't have came out with this before the 1800s, us being a slave narrative, because like I said in that movie, I remember them King George, when the British came over, they asked these people working on this plantation, they said, y'all can come work for King George and be free. And they said, well, we ain't slaves. We just work here. That's what they told the dude riding on the horse, British dude. So when do you think they created this? You from Africa? They started trying to tell us we from Africa as slaves. That narrative as slaves, because Africans is already over here prior to that whole slave narrative. 1492.
I've been saying for the longest we've been marrying up and down the eastern seaboard with many tribes from Africa's royal families.
Yeah.
Right. This was so that the royalty can keep diversified blood so that they don't have inbred traits. Because they were still marrying for power ancestrally, but because they also incorporated blood from other lands, it kept the blood where it was so diversified that you don't have the birth defects because you understood genetics. If you don't understand genetics, what I'm talking about now sound like straight gibberish. But when you like for instance, if you look at the Appalachians where it was prolonged isolated inbreeding among a small group of Europeans, and they got a distinctive what we call an inbred look.
Right.
all it does is cause the traits that's most prominent to be more pronounced in the physiology. The phenotype is a reflection of the genotype. The exaggerated features show the lack of diversity in the bloodline, right? But when the bloodline have diverse features, this is because you incorporating outside blood. And some of y'all gonna look the same and some of y'all not. Right? So we got nappy hair natives that been here the whole time, and we got straight hair natives that been here the whole time. But all of them is dark as a mug from being baked in that Mississippi sun.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So you can't tell somebody that you ain't one of us unless their character show you difference. It's the only way you can prove it. We had a broad spectrum of people. When you go back, yeah, they described the original melanated woolly haired people that looked to them like Africans when they got here. They described them in their writings.
Yeah.
Right? They still ain't saying we from Africa yet, though. Remember that. Okay, now, they also in their writings describe the ones with the dark skin and the straight hair like Chief Warhorse.
Right.
Right? She got naturally what we call wavy hair.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's her hair texture, and her skin is, heavily melanated.
Yeah, silky looking hair texture.
Her family lineage can trace back, what she said, 11,000 years.
Yeah.
That she can go in and get the paper and go back 11,000 years. This was this one mama, and this one was this one mama, and this one was this one mama. She can go back 11,000 years, ancestor for ancestors, that she's already proven to the courts in this system.
That's right.
Right? So we know that her family didn't get brought over here on no damn ship.
Facts.
Because she couldn't have that lineage going back 11,000 years with a 500-year history.
That's right. Facts.
It's the same way you got a 2,000-year-old Jesus with a 500-year-old name. And nobody don't find that suspicious.
What?
Right? You can't have both. You can't have it both ways. Either Jesus was 2,000 years ago or Jesus was 500 years ago. But you can't have both of them.
Right?
It's one or the other in the name of the truth. That's according to right knowledge, right wisdom, right thinking, right understanding. That's all about the right-hand path for the righteous. You can't take what's correct and then make it incorrect and give it back to me and tell me it's correct, because I'm going to see the difference.
Right.
Right? So if I'm going to see the difference, then I'm going to correct you on the error that you inserted into the correct information. Now, other people that have been saturated with the information for so long, they don't believe it. They can't see the lie because they've assimilated into the concept or the storyline that the lie generates. It's the same thing when the actor gets stuck in character and got to go to the site to rediscover himself because he's been playing this movie role for 8 weeks, and now he done lost 2 years. Especially the ones they call method actors, right? Where they stay in character through the whole filming of a movie so it'd be natural to them and come across as authentic on the screen. Right? So once you get stuck in character with the fallacy and somebody that's breaking the character from the fallacy, you get offended because you feel like you being attacked. It's not an attack on you, it's an attack on that lie that they tricked you with. But don't nobody want to admit they got tricked. They the only ones got the truth. They swear up and down they got the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. And I'm telling them you got the whole lie, nothing but the lie, so help you the devil. You coming over here doing devilish men in the name of God. Who your God? The devil. You don't even know it because he got you thinking that evil is good and good is evil.
Facts.
right? So if you twist their mind by keeping them disoriented, you can make them go wherever you want to, because all they doing is staggering. All you got to do is bump them, and they gonna go whatever way you bump them.
Facts.
Right? It's the same as a drunk dude. You just don't know you information drunk. You drunk on lies. So when you get drunk on the lie, they bump you with another lie in the direction they want you to go, and the truth gonna corral you, because you're gonna avoid the truth because it's gonna be uncomfortable. And you can't stay in a stupor if you're uncomfortable, because you're no longer being relaxed, being deceived. Once you break that comfort zone, and then your mind start asking you questions that the other person's statements trigger. Right? Now you want to know, wait a minute, why do that sound like that might be some validity to what they're saying? Or do you see something that they say come to pass and you're like, man, I don't believe what he be saying, but every time he say something, it happen. And he telling you the truth, you seeing it come to reality, and you still hate him for disturbing your life.
Hey, say Rod. So I'm writing. I got the questions written down. The next question I got for you is about jungle fever, because some people was noticing that some of these Moors came over here with Caucasian, pale-faced women for they wives, and then even like you just went in on a little bit of that too just a minute ago. But the jungle fever thing, and I guess it ties into the one drop of blood, I guess. But this is the part that tied into this is right here is the part of the question though. Now, I put a tape out like about a week ago about, it was like 5 incidents. The AI ended up finding 5 incidents where white women said something and then that triggered a black massacre, or a Nubian town, Native American town being burned down. One incident is Rosewood. Another incident happened in Atlanta. You already know about the Tulsa. And then you already know about the Emmett Till when he flirted with the white girl or whatever in Mississippi. Now, so that brings me to my next question: the jungle fever, and why was these Moors so afraid of the Native American man over here looking at the white woman?
He wasn't. It's reverse psychology.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Go back and read Sex and Race by J. Roger and Nature Knows No Color Line. It was reverse psychology. Read Superman the Man. And he tell you how repulsed we were by the pale-faced woman. The only way that we was going to accept her is you had to tell us she was off limit and manufacture her as the status quo of the best woman.
Alchemy in its highest form.
You can't tell no guy what to do. You can tell him what he can't do is the only way you're going to get him to do what he wouldn't do anyway.
Yeah. Makes sense.
It was reverse psychology.
Yeah, that's fact, bro.
That's all, because they had to get that drop of blood. The motherland, the pale-faced fatherland did their part, right? Because they had free reign over the women on the family farm that they rebranded as a plantation. And he was raping all of the whole family of women, producing offspring from them. Well, he did his part. So they used black celebrity status. And then you tell the god that's living like a god that he can't have something that his socioeconomic bracket say, that's bullshit. I'm up here now. I feel my God force. You can't tell me what I can't have. It was just the same with the eugenics. Right? What's the lady name that was pushing the eugenics? You remember her name?
I think you talked about on the you did a class on her.
And Walter Plecker?
It was Walter Plecker. I think Marcus Garvey got in helping to promote it a little bit. Then it was that other lady. What's her name? She the one that said she wanted all of get the Negroes hung the Negroes. What's her name in Virginia?
Hold on, I'm gonna tell you in 1 second. Margaret Sanger.
Yeah, I'm about to do a tape on her in a minute. Like, well, she tied into the tape on the app.
Listen, Margaret Sanger is a mulatto.
Yeah,
she's a half. She a quarter. Right, and she's playing the game because she know the rules of the game. She was a Eastern Star. She was a holder of the Masonic secret. Walter Plecker was a high-ranking Masonic member. He was like 32-degree Scottish Rite Freemason. They got the secret. Walter Plecker had to bow down to Garvey and come and bring him paperwork to read to know why we was in the condition we was in before Garvey would back down. All of it is in the Masonic literature that's kept in the Masonic Lodge, the Grand Lodge in DC and the one in England. They got all this stuff I'm telling you, they got it wrote down, typed out, and they got essays on it. All these are breeding programs, psychological programs, sociological programs that they run in experiments on us the whole time.
Right.
The SIG experiment wasn't the only experiment like that was being done.
Say it again.
Just the SIG experiment.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you about that. Go ahead.
That wasn't the only one of those going on. Syphilis wasn't the only disease they was tracking throughout the communities of the people. They know what they made the disease in the laboratory. They know what it is.
Right.
They want to make sure that the function that it carries is operating functionally. So they created those Planned Parenthood wellness centers so that they can monitor how and where they pathogens go. That ain't no accident. Humans don't naturally catch diseases.
Right. You gotta be injected with it.
That's all foreign interference in the biological organism. The human is the highest developed of all of the species in the animal kingdom. We are sum total of all of them. And they all are part of us. That's why the natives believe that we one with the spirit and we one with the animals. We one with the trees and we one with the fungus. We one with the soil. We one with the water. We one with all of it. Because when you get to the human, you get to the one that encompasses the highest total capacity of any animal. And this is proven by the reality that we subjugate every animal, including ourselves. So we had to be the top of the food chain. I tell them I'm not just an apex predator, I'm an apex predator, predatory predator preying on other predators.
Oh, yeah.
While everybody else is preying on the prey. I want the predators. I don't care about the prey. The predators is the bullies. I'm a bully beater. I don't go looking for no trouble, but when it come, I say no problem, just like 50 Cent. Right? What 50 say? 50 say, I never want a problem. But when they say they want a problem, I say no problem. And now they think I'm the problem. I'm not the problem. I'm just the MFing solution.
Right.
That's all. And the information is going to funnel through us, through the ones who already put in the work. That's why Noble Drew Ali needed to make sure that we read the writings of Manly P. Hall, Rudolf Steiner, Madame Blavatsky. So he said, pay attention to the white man, and I'm going to make it to the European, he said. Pay attention to the European, because I'm going to make him tell you the truth. And they all around the spiritualist movement time is the same time he's going in and out of lodges, changing the structure and the order by having the highest position in the lodge. And then they made fun of him in a movie series that came out recently. I think it might have been Lovecraft Country or something, where he went into the secret society and told them that he's the last descendant of Joshua. that they making fun of Noble Drew Ali. He got the blood and the right. Y'all just got the ceremony and the ritual. They was making fun of Noble Drew Ali because he went into their lodges and he was taking people out of positions and putting people in the positions that belong there. And then that means that the ones who came is guaranteed an L. They needed to get him off the board. They infiltrated to get him from reorganizing the brotherhoods that was going to put the proper men in their proper place. That's what he was doing. He was actively doing it. He wasn't talking about it. The stuff he talked about was his cover story. Because he knew that was going to get usurped, but he needed you to see it so that when you look back on history, you know what you're looking at. But you got tricked by the deceiver that crossed him out, and now you took sides with the deceiver, but you believe you still taking sides with the teacher. You got tricked by the dirty Moors. They play this game, they brought it as human chess. That's all it is, it's human chess. And the people that's the key players is the Knights of the Round Table, the Moorish Order of the Round Table, where you read the Clock of Destiny in order to take yourself through the sacred drift, in order to follow the sands of Islam through the annals of time. And just like the time through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives. All of it is coded. But if you don't educate yourself above the condition, you will never see the convergence of the code to unravel the mystery of the ages. We all God, but we all the subject of God at the same time. Meaning that we only can oppress ourselves. Everybody outside of you is the illusion of an oppressor. They teach you how to oppress yourself, and you gladly do it in order to surrender your power, and you think you ain't selling your soul. But when you follow somebody that makes somebody more important than somebody else, that's how you sell your soul, because you're trying to get into an elite group when it ain't no elite group that ain't a corrupt group. Because the elite already told you power corrupts. And absolute power corrupts absolutely. They told you, Winston Churchill said, the truth so valuable it must be carefully guarded by a ring of lies. They told you they was waiting on the master to come with the master grip to raise the nations. Noble Drew Ali came, he told you he came to uplift fallen humanity. That's a process involved in that. It's not an overnight job. Right? And so it's a series of things that got to take place. All he got to do is know who to tag you at, flea flicker. We gonna razzle dazzle play on out the door. Right? So when they bump me off, that's a massive left bump off the Red House. Right? He flea flickered to Elijah Muhammad. They tackled the wrong guy out of bounds. So he ain't in the game no more. So Elijah run with the ball. When he run with the ball, he find one of the greatest of all time to give aid and assistance because he's his front man, his blocker, El-Haj Malik El-Shabazz, that we call Malcolm X. But he came up in the streets as one of us as Detroit Red, right? He went and got trained in New York. That means that he was a traveling man. He went from west to east. He went from west to east in order to be of service to the one that came from the south to the north. Where roads intersect is where lines and dots connect. It's a series of events taking place. For us, they fortunate. But for the ones who had their foot on our neck, it's very unfortunate. It's a series of unfortunate events that's leading to the great collapse of cataclysm, right? Where the last shall be made first and the first shall be made last. And the ones that's first that don't want to get to last, they're going to end up being kicked in the ass. because you already had your turn. It's somebody else's turn on this ride. So you're gonna get off and you're gonna let the people that was waiting behind the velvet rope through, right? Because y'all make me want to scream. But you didn't know I was dangerous. Right? We all tell it in a different way. But to connect the dots with what you already know is the easiest way to get you to understand what I'm trying to explain. And that's why they always told you he comes speaking in parables. It's not always parables. Sometimes it's analogies. Sometimes it's comparative analysis, right? But to be able to incorporate them in the right format to activate the consciousness of the ones who haven't seen the promised land yet, they didn't know that the land they was promised, they ain't gonna never get because they was promised a lie in the first place. Because you can't take from the rightful heir what's rightfully theirs and expect righteousness to prevail. It can't happen.
That's right, bro.
So the only way that righteousness can prevail is for the rightful heir to get the rightful inheritance and put the right people in the right place. Now that's all righteous, brother.
I'm telling you, Fred Ray, right on, right on.
That's an unchained melody.
Right is right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right is
so
right.
all the ones that did wrong, that's their issue. That got nothing to do with me. I'm only concerned with the ones of us that's been trying to do right. And sometimes when we was trying to do right, we did a little wrong because sometimes you got to do the wrong thing in order to do what's right. Sometimes in order to do in the mouth, that's the right thing to do at the time. You got to already really accept this. I'm just going to do what's right. Right. And you might not have to punch nobody in the mouth your whole life doing what's right. But then sometimes you might have to take a head for you to do what's right. As the man of the house, somebody do something to one of these babies. Oh, they might not see me, but I'm coming. They might not know I'm coming till I get there, but I'll be there. Shock and awe. Surprise out of nowhere. Bang, bang. Upside the head. Whoops, upside the head. Whoops, the roof. We don't need no water. The ropes.
Hey, Rod, they break. So the Moors, Canaanites are bringing back up. They saying because they I put out a receipt, a clip where you said that which one of these tribes are Moors on the land, and can the Moors tell you which tribe they was on the land? And some people are saying, have they been tricked into thinking they Moors?
Yeah.
Right? So
More is a catch term, first and foremost.
Go ahead.
The righteous Moors know they tribe. This is why I said that.
Go ahead.
My brother-in-law is a righteous Moor. He know his chief is Angel Bay as a follower of Noble Drew Ali. Right? He know this without nobody having to tell him because he know his tribe. Right? Now, I got another homeboy, Glover Bay. He a righteous Moor. He know his tribe. Right? They know, and they still teach more science, but they teach it in a way that brings awareness to the members of their tribe. Right? They don't have to be flagging peace stone hand signs, but they will because it's their tribal language. They talking in sign language, brother to brother, more to more. They read the literature. How in the hell is you a Moabite, right? following a lie when the god of the Moabites name is Chemosh? Make it make sense. The Canaanites had a whole nother god.
Well, to cut that as a clip.
Right? You can go in the Bible and look it up. The god of the Moabites name is Chemosh. They mean the mighty one. So if you're a Moabite, then under the catch term is more. More is a catch term. It's a term used to identify people with common physical characteristics. But they also have room for the variation of characteristics, because you can have a blackamoor, you can have a Moor, and then you can have a tawny Moor. A tawny Moor is a Khazarian, a yellow half-breed mulatto Moor. The Zionist. They getting their instructions from Switzerland. That's the home of all finance on the planet.
That's right.
Right? The most control you can have on the planet is control the purse strings of the entire planet Earth. You are the neutral party in all wars. Go back and find out when their last war was. You're going to find out the last war was with the French.
That's right.
Why is that important? Because the French Revolution was ousting the Moors, the ones they was calling Moors, but they was calling them Berbers at the time. They wasn't calling them Moors yet. They was calling them Berbers. That means they came from the Ottoman Empire. They barbarians in English. They from the Barbary, which is east of Rome. Right? So this is how you know they different from the Atlanteans, or the, as they say in the book of Enoch, the people from Tartarus. Because Tartarus is the landmass called South America, and the closest 2 points of South America and Europe, or Rome, they intersect at a westerly direction. So they call the Tartarians anything that was Atlantean.